Welcome to New Jersey Politics with Laura Jones. I am Laura Jones, and we are so glad to have you here. Electric bills in New Jersey are rising significantly for residents and businesses across the state. With demand surging and supply struggling to keep up, New Jersey faces tough choices to ensure affordable and reliable energy. Standing by to break down these complex issues is Jeanette Hoffman, president of Marathon Public Affairs and host of Energy Matters. First, though, we focus on a call to action for New Jersey's 9/11 first responders. Velazquez-Stetz, a retired Jersey City police officer and 9/11 responder, has been working tirelessly with the state legislature to extend something called the Richie Act, which provides vital disability benefits for those who risk their lives at ground zero. She is here now, along with attorney Michael Barasch, with an update on some legislation. Val, Michael, good to see you both here. Val, you were among the thousands of New Jersey first responders who rushed to ground zero after 9/11. Yes. Let's talk a little bit about first the headline here. You've been working to try and help those who have had long-term health effects from responding. What's the update?
So the update is great news. The governor signed our bill, and which will lead to extension of the Richie bill. And now it's Chapter 157 for the Division of Pension and Benefits for New Jersey and the STFA for the state police.
Right.
And it's amazing that we were able to get this done. And I worked tirelessly, as you know, and thank you for having me back again, Laura. And this is just an amazing thing that that Governor Murphy signed.
Yeah, Michael, can we get you to weigh in with your thoughts? You know, it is mind-boggling to think these heroes, we kept saying, we will never forget, we will never forget. And, you know, so many people are having long-term health effects only to find out they're not able to get their disability covered. They're not able to pay their medical bills. There's no safety net like there was in New York City. So can you talk a little bit about how we got to where we are?
Yeah, and I have to say, this woman next to me is a force of nature. Next time you need a bill passed, a bipartisan bill, by the way, this is the woman, Velazquez-Stetz. She made this happen with Dr. Iris Udison at the World Trade Center Health Program at Rutgers. And I'm so proud of her. This gives New Jersey responders the same rights that the New York firefighters and cops have. I mean, let's face it, Laura, they were all breathing the same toxic dust. When they did the autopsy of Jimmy Zadroga, he was a New York City detective who lived in New Jersey. They found ground glass in his lungs, as well as asbestos and lead and benzene, all these known carcinogens. So no wonder the New Jersey cops are coming down with the same illnesses and the same cancers. And now they're entitled to pension benefits that they otherwise were not getting. So this is an amazing thing that Val did.
Yeah, and Val, you and I, since you last came on the show probably about a year ago, you were talking about, you know, again, your advocacy. Then you and I kind of became Facebook friends, and I see almost on a regular basis so many of your friends, so many of your colleagues are battling some significant health issues, so many losing their lives. Can you talk a little bit about, would you like to share any of their stories or just what continues to motivate you? I know you yourself have been personally impacted by this as well.
Yes, and so many of my friends, Jersey City police officers, firefighters, and a close friend of mine, Sal Fascino, he was a detective, and he just signed up probably a year prior, and I just kept telling him, come on, go to the health program, and he's like, I'm fine. I said, you know, get your stomach checked, get an endoscopy, do this, do that, like, and I'm sending him to doctors. He's like, I don't have time. Nobody has time, right? And he found out he had stomach cancer, and he only lasted 3 months. It was probably the worst thing I've been through so far. I've been to so many funerals and visiting people in the hospital because our clients that we have, they become my family and my friends, and I take it very personal, and I help them throughout the process. I have people calling me, the wives, they call me throughout the process, and even after they receive compensation, and we just become friends. They come to my home. I had a cop from Wall yesterday come to my home to drop off a death certificate from his dad that died from 9/11 illness. This happens in my home all day long. This is not a job for me. This is passion to get this done, but it wasn't done alone. I did have, senators and assembly people. Assemblyman Jerry Scoffenberger was the first one that signed on for the extension, and I want to thank him and Vicki Flynn. They really helped me a lot. And then when I called Declan O'Scanlan, he was like, whatever you need, Val. And Carmen Amato and Senator Bucco, they were very instrumental to get this done. And it's a bipartisan bill because, you know what? We went over there and we don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. We just go to help.
So many thousands of New Jersey responders answered the call and came over to help New York. They didn't question, oh, this is a Democrat or Republican issue. And the toxic dust, it didn't discriminate either. So the fact that these New Jersey responders can now apply for pension benefits, disability pension benefits, if they're sick, even if they died, they can now get benefits from the federal government. I mean, this is an amazing thing that the government did. And I know you don't often cover great stories being done by the Jersey legislatures. Well, in this case, they deserve it and the governor deserves it.
I mean,
big round of applause.
Under the best of circumstances, trying to understand your benefits is very complex. And when you're sick, when you're the one who needs a voice, and Val, you've talked about this toxic condition at the World Trade Center. Despite so many assurances from officials that the air was safe, they got out there, they said and at the time, I think they really did believe that. They didn't know what they didn't know at the time. But, is the work over? I know that there are reports, there are reports that, are concerns about, longer term effects, maybe even early onset dementia. Michael, can you just talk about, legally, is the work done here? What other things are you looking at and ensuring that these people who risked everything and didn't hesitate, they ran into danger, and I'm sure probably would again if given the opportunity.
And they would do it again if given the opportunity, even if the government said the air is not safe to breathe. But you're so right, and that's such a good question. People keep getting sick. These are called latent illnesses. They have now linked 69 cancers. And what's even so heartbreaking is that so many people, especially outside of New York City, firefighters and cops, don't realize that they are eligible. So the government did the right thing in 2011, and thanks to Jon Stewart, who got this personally extended in 2019 when he shamed those congressmen who were saying, hey, we never forget, but they were forgetting. And the World Trade Center Health Program and the Victim Compensation Fund have both been extended till 2090 because every single day people are getting these serious cancers. My law firm alone loses 2 clients a day, Laura. And as sad as that is, it's incredibly gratifying when you can tell a widow, even when you can tell someone who's dying, hey, listen, don't worry, your family's not going to have to move. They're not going to lose their home. Your kids can go to college. That's what the Victim Compensation Fund did. The health program takes care of all the co-pays, all the deductibles. And now, thanks to this Richie bill extension, now responders who got sick will be able to get their pensions for the rest of their lives if their disability was caused by any of these cancers. So it's great. And let's not forget the fact that New Jersey commuters who worked in Lower Manhattan, while they're not eligible for the Richie bill, they certainly are eligible for the World Trade Center Health Program and the Victim Compensation Fund. So they too should look into doing what they can to protect their future rights.
Yeah, and Val, you've talked about the Richie Act. It's meant to protect the first responders, but you've said it's kind of the state's best kept secret. So can you talk a little bit about the challenges in ensuring these first responders not just know, but are able to access that? Because when you're not feeling well, when you are battling, these terminal and chronic illnesses, you need help. Just getting through the day-to-day, let alone trying to advocate for what you're entitled to.
That is so true. Every day I deal with someone else that's so sick. And how are they supposed to fill out forms? They know what mail came in. So in 2019, they sent a little postcard, the PFRS and the SCFA, to members, allegedly. But I could tell you 90% of the people that I signed up and deal with, they said that they don't even know what I'm talking about. Never mind that they received it. They're like, what are you talking about? What is a disability pension? Like, how do I get that? I said, well, did you fill out the Richie card? And they said no. So I was like, wait, something has to be done about this. So I actually approached Dr. Udison from the World Trade Center Health Program in Rutgers, and she said she couldn't do anything about it because she works for Rutgers. She said, but you can, Val. You have to speak to your legislators, and you have to get the law changed. That's the only way. And I said, law change? How am I going to do that? Like, I don't know. So I did it, and somehow I just went to every assembly person that I know, every senator that I know. I go to different political functions, and I'm like, I've been supporting these guys and girls for so many years. I said, so I just need this one little favor, if you could sign on to this bill that Jessica Ramirez originally wrote, but it was given back to Assemblyman Kennedy, because he was the original assembly person that wrote the original bill, so they gave it back to him.
Yeah, I mean, Val, I'm just struck by that. You know, so many things start out with, well, call your lawmaker, call your legislator, and people will start, and then life gets in the way. It's very hard to be able to maintain that. And you yourself, you too are struggling yourself with chronic health issues. What type of message do you want for people watching, whether they're affected by it or just moved by the story in general, what message do you want to leave our audience with?
I want them to know that if you believe strongly about something and you have passion for something, you have to continue the fight, continue, pounding the pavement, get out there, speak to people, whoever will listen, basically. That's what I did. And it wasn't easy. Believe me, I was rejected so many times. I was rejected by the union heads. I was rejected by many people, but I just kept going. Thank God, because I'm so passionate about it, because my friends were dying. My firefighters from Jersey City Police, my friends from the police department, and all over the state troopers, so many troopers actually, and I became friends with their families, with their wives, with their children. I mean, this is a family to me. This is not a job to me. This is a family, and I'm very passionate about it. And I said, I can't stop for these people that died, and myself, obviously. I was in the hospital several times from 9/11 related illnesses. Last year, probably 4 times hospitalized.
Yeah, and if I can just
you did that, Val. Yeah.
Laura, don't wait until you get that horrible diagnosis that, oh, sir, or oh, ma'am, you have this terrible cancer. You don't want to leave your spouse with the job of proving that you came over from New Jersey to help out, because so many of them volunteered and they didn't realize that 25 years later they might need a witness. They might need some proof from their union that they were here. Start the process now. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I know responders in general, Val, I hope you don't take this the wrong way. They're great at taking care of other people, and they're not always so great at taking care of themselves. Do it for your family and enroll in this free World Trade Center Health program. Apply to the Richie Act. Even if you're healthy, protect yourselves.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, that's what's staggering is more people have died from related illnesses than did on 9/11. That's staggering. Just final thoughts. Again, even if you may not qualify, you're not sure, go ahead and fill out the paperwork. Michael, Val, where do you go just to find out and to start the ball rolling?
Go to 9/11 Victims with an S, 911victims.com. There's so much information on that website, and it'll lead you in the right direction.
And they could call me anytime. My number is out there. My email is out there. People come to my house. They know where I live. It's okay. Whatever you need to do, I need you to fill out the Richie forms. And they didn't, they didn't put up the new forms yet, but they can fill out the old forms just to get the ball rolling and to get it started. And I can tell them what they need to do. They need to get certified with the World Trade Center Health Program first with Dr. Udison, and she will make that determination if they're disabled due to their conditions, and she will write that letter for them to fill out the Richie bill. And I actually help them throughout the process, because there's some older guys, they don't know how to scan or email or whatever. So I'll go to their house. I'll help them. I'll fill out the paperwork for them. They just sign. And I get it done. That's all. I don't know how, but 7 days a week.
Thank you for covering the story, Laura.
Michael, thank you. Val, more people need advocates like yourself, because just, finding that one person who will listen and direct you to the right place. It's incredible. And like I said, I've been following you on Facebook, and your advocacy astounds me. I know I'm not supposed to be biased here, but it really is extraordinary. So thank you for all that you do and for giving us this wonderful, wonderful update.
Thank you. This is my passion. This is what God wants me to do. Thank you.
Well, you're doing it well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Electric bills are going up across New Jersey, and both families and businesses are feeling the pinch. The spike is tied to recent energy auctions and growing demand, raising big questions about how we keep power both affordable and reliable. Joining us now to break it all down is Jeanette Hoffman, president of Marathon Public Affairs and host of Energy Matters, a show focused on New Jersey's toughest energy challenges and the search for solutions. Jeanette, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Laura. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. All right. So energy, it is complicated to understand how we get our power, how these auctions go. But what's very easy to understand is that people living in Jersey are seeing our bills hike up to 20%. So can you talk a little bit about what are the key factors driving these rising energy costs in our state right now?
Yeah, and bills are going up by 20% and more in some cases. And we've been talking about that a lot on Energy Matters. We've had elected officials, stakeholders, legislators, pollsters, everyone is weighing in on, the causes of these bill increases. And there are a lot of different reasons for why energy costs are going up. Demand, as you say, demand is increasing, especially as we have these AI data centers coming to not just our state, but surrounding states that are part of our grid, and the PJM grid, which consists of 13 other states. And then we're lacking in supply because we lost a nuclear power plant in New Jersey. A pipeline in South Jersey was delayed and never got built. So some stable sources of energy are missing from New Jersey's energy supply right now. So when supply goes down and demand goes up, so do prices. So that's kind of what you're seeing. You'll see some people point to PJM as the big bad boogeyman out there. They're responsible for raking your heights. But of course, there should be transparency in how their auction works. But it really has a lot to do with supply and demand here.
Right, and I think that's where people can get a little confused, because you'll have legislators talking about, well, these auctions and this isn't right, and then you'll have other people saying, well, wait a minute, we haven't been investing in doing what we should in New Jersey for our own needs. So for people who are unfamiliar or still trying to understand, can you talk exactly about PJM interconnection, what it is, how it works? Like, the best way I've tried, it's kind of like an air traffic control for power, but maybe you can explain it a little bit more layman's terms.
So PJM is the biggest energy grid in the country. It services 13 states, 65 million people. It originally stood for Pennsylvania, Jersey, and Maryland. Obviously, servicing 13 states, it's gotten much bigger, but it doesn't produce any energy. It just services electricity. And PJM's biggest responsibility is not just ensuring capacity on the grid, but reliability. So we don't have brownouts, we don't have blackouts. On the coldest days, we're able to heat our homes. On the hottest days, we're able to cool our homes. PJM wants to make sure that our lights go on. So the PJM auction, they're basically, like you said, a traffic controller. And the PJM auction, they are responsible for getting energy onto the grid for 3 years. And they go out to bid to different energy suppliers, and they look at capacity for the next 3 years because they want to make sure we have enough capacity. And they look at stable sources of energy at the lowest cost. And then people, the energy suppliers bid, and the lowest bids win, because there are not as many energy suppliers in certain states, particularly New Jersey, of natural gas and nuclear. There are less than there were before. And demand is going up higher with different energy needs. prices are higher. Should there be more transparency? Of course. But to blame PJM for all our energy problems, I think people are kind of pushing off blame to somebody else. There's another criticism of PJM is that they have not let enough clean energy projects onto the grid. Well, PJM their job is not to be political. Their job is not to care about whether you're clean or whether you're this or you're that. Their job is to ensure reliability. Some energy sources are more reliable than others. Nuclear is 95% reliable. Natural gas, 65% reliable. But when you come to things like wind, it's only 30% reliable. Solar, only 8% reliable. So if it's a cloudy day, you're not heating your home with solar. So, yes, we need clean energy. It should be part of our component, but that is not the problem why energy rates are spiking, because we don't have enough clean energy. We need stable, affordable, reliable sources of energy.
Well, you hear Governor Murphy and the other state leaders are vocal, and they talk about holding PJM accountable and for pushing for reform. But what other steps can New Jersey take, to address these issues that you are outlining here that really go to the core issue? It's not so much, you're saying it's really misplaced on blaming this auction.
Well, so Governor Murphy has an energy master plan that he developed over the past 8 years of his tenure. And the next governor is going to have to go in there and look at it. Now, this energy master plan heavily favors green energy like offshore wind. The governor has put his eggs in that whole basket of offshore wind, and it totally dropped. So, that's one thing. It favors, EVs, it favors electricity, but it completely leaves out nuclear. It completely leaves out natural gas. So those are two big, stable, affordable sources of energy. The next governor needs to decide what their energy plan is going to be for New Jersey to make rates more affordable. So as Governor Murphy's tenure is winding down, the next governor and the legislature need to come up with a plan of how they are going to make rates more affordable. Should they audit PJM? Sure. Listen, every government agency should be held accountable, especially one that works on energy rates for New Jersey families.
Yeah, well, and a lot of emphasis and a lot of groups that we talk to talks about these renewable energy projects, but there have been a lot of delays in connecting these renewable energy projects with solar, wind. So those delays are certainly impacting New Jersey's plan, are they not?
Yeah, and that's why, it's unfortunate that Governor Murphy has put his eggs in that offshore wind and solar basket, and not even solar, it's really an offshore wind, because it's a project that didn't come to fruition. And unfortunately, other projects weren't brought online. Natural gas, the South Jersey pipeline was canceled, nuclear. So there's a whole host of things that could have been done to make energy more affordable and more available to New Jersey consumers, but just wasn't, because Governor Murphy really focused on a solely green agenda instead of an all of an above approach. And it was interesting. I had Mike Duhame on, who he's run presidential campaigns, gubernatorial campaigns. He recently conducted a poll with a bipartisan group called Natural Allies. People don't. What he told me, I found really interesting. People don't see energy in a political way. They just want their lights to turn on. They want their heat to go on, and they want energy to be affordable. It's just that simple. And when he looked at these polls, it says 80% of New Jersey homeowners thought their electric rates were too high. And I said, Mike, who are the other 20%?
Right.
But he said, in all his years of polling, most people usually think that their electric rates are right where they should be. So this is really an outlier where we are here now.
Oh, interesting. That's an interesting, that most people think they're where they should be. Oh, interesting. Okay. Well,
I was surprised by this too.
Yeah. So as host of Energy Matters, you're diving into these issues regularly. So can you tell us a little bit about the focus of your shows, the topics you're wanting to cover, and how you really want to inform and empower your audience when it comes to energy issues affecting New Jersey?
Yeah, so as you know, Laura, as we're talking about, energy has become one of the top, if not the top issues in New Jersey politics and policy right now. And everyone I have on the show has really valuable opinions of how we can approach this issue, how we can make energy more affordable, and also talking about future energy projects for New Jersey and for our workforce development. For example, I talked to Assemblyman Wayne D'Angelo, who's the chair of the Assembly Telecommunications and Utilities Committee, and he talked about future projects and how they can help New Jersey's labor workforce and utilities workforce, and what that would look like in the future, and why it's so important to bring some of these projects that have been stalled in the Murphy administration to move forward in the future. I've talked to people like a council president in Trenton that talked about the impact of these rate hikes on low-income communities and what it means to them, how some of them will forego buying groceries or paying their utility bills, and how she's a school teacher and how it affects kids in school when maybe their lights were shut off or maybe their air conditioning is off. So it has a profound effect on so many different people from so many different walks of life in New Jersey. And I had Christina Renna from the South Jersey Chamber of Commerce of South Jersey, and she talked about the business community and how businesses are making trade-offs when it comes to paying their utilities or hiring another person,
right,
because expenses just add up. And of course, when you're in South Jersey, you have Delaware right across the river, Pennsylvania right over there too, and they have been making tax cuts. They've been making things more affordable for businesses. So it's pretty enticing for New Jersey businesses who are looking to cut costs.
Jeanette, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, Laura. I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. And that'll do it for today. I'm Laura Jones. Thanks so much for watching New Jersey Politics. We look forward to seeing you back here next time.